There's a moment, usually late at night, usually over text, when a woman decides you're just a friend forever. And once that decision is made in her mind, no amount of niceness will ever undo it. She won't even tell you it happened. She'll just start talking to you differently, planning around you differently, and one day you'll realize the window closed months ago. I'm about to tell you everything you need to do right now before that window shuts for good. I almost didn't make this video. Talking about how attraction actually forms in a woman's mind feels like breaking some unspoken rule, like I'm handing you the manual nobody's supposed to have. But here's the thing. Researchers at the University of Virginia found that women often decide whether a man is a romantic possibility within the first few interactions, and after that, they largely filter every future interaction through that early judgment. Which means most guys aren't failing because she's not interested. They're failing because they got sorted into the wrong category early and never learned how to shift out of it. That's what this video fixes. I'm going to walk you through 7 psychological shifts that move a woman from seeing you as safe and familiar to seeing you as someone she actually wants. We're counting down from 7 to 1, but pay very close attention to number 3. It's the one most men get completely backwards, and it's usually the exact thing quietly killing their chances. I'll tell you exactly what it is when we get there. Picture this. She texts you at 11 p.m., bored, and you reply in under 10 seconds, every single time. It feels like being a good friend. It's actually the opposite of attractive. The wrong instinct is to think constant availability equals value. But what she actually craves is the feeling that your time is valuable, that you have a life pulling at you, that she has to earn a piece of your attention rather than just claim it. Psychologist Robert Cialdini's research on scarcity shows people assign higher value to things and people that feel limited rather than infinitely accessible. She will never ask you to be less available because that would mean admitting she wants more of you than she's getting. So tonight, let one text sit for an hour before responding, no explanation given. Availability tells her you're comfortable, scarcity tells her you're desired. Let her see you through other people's eyes. Imagine she's with you at a coffee shop and the barista lights up the second you walk in, clearly happy to see you. Or a mutual friend mentions offhand that you're the guy everyone wants advice from. The wrong instinct is to downplay yourself around her, to stay humble to the point of invisibility. What she's actually wired to respond to is social proof, evidence from outside sources that you're valued by the world, not just convenient for her. Dr. Robert Cialdini again, this time citing social proof as one of the 6 core drivers of influence, found that people trust and desire things other people already desire. She will never say, "Please let me see you," as impressive, because that admission feels embarrassing. So this week, let a friend introduce you with an actual compliment attached and don't deflect it. Let it land. Disagree with her sometimes. Picture a conversation where she gives an opinion and you just agree. Every time. Smooth, easy, zero friction. It feels safe. It's actually forgettable. The wrong instinct is total agreeableness, thinking it builds comfort. What she actually wants is a man with his own mind. Someone whose validation means something because it isn't automatic. Marriage researcher Dr. John Gottman's work on healthy relationship dynamics found that couples who could navigate respectful disagreement reported higher attraction and satisfaction than those who avoided conflict entirely. She will never tell you, "Please push back on me more," because it sounds like she's asking to be challenged, which feels vulnerable. So next conversation, find one small thing to genuinely, respectfully disagree with. Being liked is common. Being respected is rare. Create moments she can't put in the friend folder. Picture the two of you doing something slightly outside the normal script. Maybe you take her somewhere new, somewhere with a little unpredictability, a little edge. The wrong instinct is to keep every interaction inside the same, safe, familiar pattern you've always had. What she actually craves is novelty. a moment that doesn't fit neatly into the mental file marked friend, forcing her brain to refile you somewhere new. Psychologist Arthur Aaron's famous 36 questions and shared adrenaline studies found that novel, slightly thrilling shared experiences measurably increase feelings of attraction between two people, even platonic ones going in. She will never ask you to do something that makes me see you differently, because voicing that need feels like admitting the current dynamic isn't working. So this week, break the pattern. A new place, a new activity, anything outside the usual script. Comfort keeps her, novelty moves her. Stop explaining your value, let her feel it. This is the one I warned you about. Picture this. You're subtly trying to prove you're a good option, mentioning your job, mentioning your goals, mentioning, without quite saying it, that you'd be a great boyfriend. It feels proactive. It's actually the single fastest way to kill attraction stone dead. The wrong instinct, the one almost every man defaults to, is believing that if he just states his value clearly enough, she'll logically arrive at wanting him. But attraction isn't logical, and she can feel the difference between a man who's showing you who he is versus a man who's selling you on who he is. What she actually craves is a sense of pulling the value out of you herself, discovering it rather than being pitched it. Dr. Helen Fisher's research on the neuroscience of romantic attraction found that dopamine-driven desire spikes hardest during uncertainty and discovery, not during direct reassurance. She will never tell you, "Stop trying to convince me," because on the surface, she may not even consciously register that you're doing it. She'll just quietly lose interest and call it not feeling a spark. So starting today, stop stating your value. Show it once and let it sit there unexplained. The moment you have to convince her, you've already lost the frame. Give her something to picture, the end of a great hangout. Instead of dragging it out until it goes flat, you leave first, while it's still fun. The wrong instinct is to maximize time together, thinking more exposure equals more connection. What she actually craves is a small ache afterward, a feeling that the time together ended too soon, which her mind will replay and want to repeat. Behavioral researchers studying the peak end rule found that people judge experiences primarily by their most intense moment and how they ended, not their duration. She will never ask you to leave while it's still good because it sounds counterintuitive even to her. So tonight, end the hangout or the call 10 minutes earlier than you naturally would. Leave her wanting the next chapter, not the whole book in one sitting. Become the standard she measures other men against. Picture every other guy she talks to afterward, quietly falling short of something she can't quite name. That's the final shift. Not chasing her attention, but becoming the reference point her mind returns to. The wrong instinct is trying to be everything to her all at once, front-loading effort to win her fast. What she actually craves is a slow-building certainty, the sense that you are consistently, calmly, the most secure and self-assured presence in her life without ever announcing it. Relationship researcher Dr. Sue Johnson's work on emotional bonding found that felt security, not intensity, is what predicts long-term romantic attachment. She will never tell you, "Be my standard," because the moment she said it out loud, it would stop being true. So from today forward, be consistent, be calm, be the same man on your best day and your worst. Everyone else is auditioning. You're just you. And that's what she'll end up comparing everyone else to. That's all 7, from learning to be less available, all the way up to quietly becoming her standard. You now understand more about how female attraction actually forms than probably 90% of men ever will. But here's the hard truth. None of this works if it just sits in your head as information. Tonight, the very next time you talk to her, pick one of these 7 and actually do it. Not tomorrow. Tonight. But knowing how to build attraction is really only half the equation. Because even if you do everything right, there's one thing that can destroy it instantly. A handful of specific things men say without realizing it that make a woman lose interest in seconds. That's exactly what I'm breaking down in the next video. 5 phrases that instantly kill attraction. Most men say number 2 every day. You're going to want to see this before you make one of these mistakes tonight and undo everything we just